want to know more about like Bahrain business environment. You mentioned it was difficult to scale up, right? How did you build trust and credibility and get the initial set of clients?
I think that Bahrain is a very unique sort of a setup in a country. It's extremely inclusive. It's very warm and welcoming. People are extremely respectful.
The Ayurveda demand there. Do you see like a market?
The entry barriers are very low. Like today, if you come here and you want to set up a business here, you can do that. The very definition of entrepreneur is that it is not safe. It's highly risky, and high risk is high rewards, right? And also this whole ecosystem, the business ecosystem, to be supported by small and medium enterprises, and they're very encouraging of it. And they have the various funding mechanisms and these semi-government organizations that help SMEs with various aspects of business. And that is how businesses are born and they're like kind of, growing in this country.
In the middle of Bahrain's desert, there stands a tree called as the Tree of Life. This 400-year-old wonder survives there without any visible source of water. No one really knows how it thrives, but it does. It stands strong, rooted, and inspiring. Just like that tree, I bring to you stories of resilience, reinvention, and rediscovery. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Talk with Nesh. I'm Neha Sharma, and on today's episode, we're going to have conversation with Miss Anita Menon, who is a business entrepreneur based in Bahrain. She runs not just one, but 4 businesses. Let's learn from her about life and business in Bahrain, and we'll see how she turned every challenge into an opportunity. Hi, everyone. Let's welcome Anita on the show. Hi, Anita. How are you?
Hi, Neha. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks so much. We really look forward to hearing your journey and learning so much from you, particularly about Bahrain. Thanks again. So let's just begin. If you could just give a very brief introduction about yourself to all our viewers today.
I'm a mechanical engineer, and I did my MBA in supply chain management from Symbiosis Pune. From there on, I had a very decent career in supply chain consulting for about 10 odd years. And then from there, I started my own businesses. So that's just me in a nutshell. Yeah.
Great, great. Thanks for that. So, what was the reason for you to make a move to Bahrain?
Okay, so for any expat wife, it's usually when your husband gets a job in the Middle East, right? So you just tag along, and I was a new mother, and I was on a break, and I didn't know if I wanted to go back to work at all, or it was going to be a longish break. We moved to Bahrain with absolutely no such set ideas or tenure in mind. My husband got a job here, we moved here, and that is how I'm in Bahrain. 14 years later.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So after you moved to Bahrain, were you still doing a normal corporate job that you started in India, or you moved and you decided to start your business?
Okay, so when I came to Bahrain, I had an 8-month-old on me, so I couldn't really do
Okay.
much. But when she turned 2.5, I kind of moved out of my stay at home mom status to a consultant. I joined KPMG, and I did there also. I was doing supply chain consulting mostly. So I joined KPMG for 2 years and got back into the corporate world like that in Bahrain itself.
So how did then the business, shift happen? How did you start your business?
So I think that this was the main reason. Consulting is extremely demanding. It's a very isolated profession. When you go on projects, you would be out of the office for 3 months straight. You don't see anybody. You're in the client side, and client side, nobody knows you. You're tucked away in some office working on your laptop.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of travel between Bahrain and Qatar. Like I traveled from Sunday to Thursday, and then only weekend was the time I used to get with my family. So it took a toll on us in a way. And then I thought that, I'd already spent a decade doing food blogging and content writing just for
Yeah.
my passion. So I thought maybe if I can just earn as much as I'm earning right now in terms
Yeah.
of my salary in content writing, and the whole social media thing was just shaping up here.
Hmm.
I just don't need to do anything else. So when I started getting a few assignments in content writing, some blog articles and things like that, and it actually was way more than what I was earning at KPMG, very
Okay.
surprisingly. So then I was
Great.
like, okay, I mean, I get to sit at home
Yeah.
and I'm with my child when she comes back from school.
Yeah.
I get to take care of everything, and I was happy. Like, okay, this is what I want, and so I quit. That is how my entrepreneurial journey started. Like, it was a conscious decision to be able to spend more time with my child.
Right. So when you decided to start your own business, what were like some of the challenges that you faced? Because initially there are always some hiccups that happen, right, when you're trying to set up something new. So we want to like understand from you, like from the Bahrain, business environment point of view, what were some of the things that were challenging that you faced?
I think from my corporate experience, the things I was really good at was project delivery and client management, but I did not know how to do sales. That was something really difficult for me to be able to do business development, to convince somebody that please give me this work. I think
Mm.
that is the biggest and the most important skill that anybody should have, because all other skills are something that you learn very quickly on the job, but sales is something that it's a knack.
Yeah.
And and it's something that took me a lot of time to learn. That was my biggest challenge, to be able to sell. Yeah, and I'm not somebody who's a natural, a natural sort of an extrovert type of person. I I keep to myself. I'm not very outspoken. So it really kind of was a very challenging part for me to kind of master. I won't say I've mastered it yet, but it's just that I'm much better at it now.
So it's really like going out of your comfort zone, right? And you've built like not just one but four businesses. So running multiple business, I think it's amazing. It's really incredible. Kudos to you.
So there are two fundamentals, and these are things and skills that you pick up when you're in consulting. Either you grow in terms of you grow the same business and you keep scaling it up as much as possible, or you diversify. These are the two options that you have usually. When you're in a smaller country like Bahrain, it can be challenging when if you want to scale something up to that extent, because at some point you would hit the ceiling.
Yeah.
Then you have to look at the neighboring countries like Saudi or Qatar or UAE and so on and so forth for business, which is also extremely difficult because though they may be called GCC countries, the way they do business, everything is very different.
Right.
So it was difficult for me to scale my digital business, surprisingly. Very,
Mm.
very difficult. I tried a lot. So it's my 11th year in business now, doing digital marketing. So we also tried US, Canada. It was tough. I won't say it was easy at all. We did get some clients, but wasn't anything sustainable. So in my head, I understood that if I have to grow my revenue base, then it has to be multiple revenue streams. Otherwise, it's going to be very challenging to keep sustaining an agency where people perhaps sometimes delay payments.
Uh-huh.
So for me, getting into a cash business was extremely important. And that's when I decided to buy a salon, which was on distress sale.
Okay.
And without knowing anything about the salon business, I jumped into it. And I thought that it would be good to kind of have a cash business on hand. So
Mhm.
that was one reason. And then salon being a highly competitive business, it also has its limitations. It's seasonal, it's unpredictable, it's highly competitive. There are too many salons around. So it had its own share of challenges. So then I moved into the wellness part of it, which is the Ayurveda clinic and so on. These were like sort of conscious decisions that were made because, I mean, sitting back and reflecting and observing and keeping that big picture in mind at all times, I was able to take these decisions. And that is how I have these multiple businesses right now.
Great. That's amazing. So I want to know more about like Bahrain business environment. You mentioned it was difficult to scale up, right? How did you build trust and credibility and get the initial set of clients?
I think that Bahrain is a very unique sort of a setup in a country. It's extremely inclusive, despite whatever stereotypes or whatever perception that the rest of the world would have about GCC countries. Bahrain is extremely inclusive. It's very warm and welcoming. People are extremely respectful. And being a woman, expat Indian woman running businesses here, it's never been sort of a challenge for me to reach out to anybody and say that, may I have a meeting with you? If they are interested in that sort of a work with us, they would immediately say yes, meeting is okay. I mean, then it's up to us to convince them to give us business, right? So it's Bahrain is extremely amazing in that sense. The entry barriers are very low.
I
Like
see.
today, if you come here and you want to set up a business here, you can do that. It's
I see.
that low. They want this whole ecosystem, the business ecosystem, to be supported by small and medium enterprises, and they're very encouraging of it. And they
Okay.
have these various funding mechanisms and these semi-government organizations that help SMEs with various aspects of business, and that is how businesses are born, and they're like kind of growing in this country.
Understood.
So
Understood. Great. I also want to know, like you mentioned, wellness, right? Ayurveda. So I have a very I'm very curious to understand what's the Ayurveda demand there. Do you see like a market like expanding, or I just want to understand like how is it there?
I think post COVID, everybody was looking for alternative medicine, whether it was Ayurveda, whether it was naturopathy, or whether it was hijama, which is the Arabic natural healing system, Chinese medicine. Everybody was looking for various other types of medicine that was not allopathy or Western medicine. So I found that gap in the market, and I felt that maybe this is the right time to introduce something which people will readily accept. And post COVID, the mindset of people was pretty open to this.
I see.
Yes. So, I mean, for us Indians, we already know what it is, right? I mean, we've all experienced Ayurveda at some point in our lives or the other. But when it comes to locals or Western expats who live here, or all the other types of expats who live here, they also are kind of aware that this Indian medicine system exists. Maybe they didn't get a chance to explore, but through Sri Saukya Ayurvedic Center, which is the name of our clinics now, we have got two branches, they were able to explore that and readily accept. And then when they feel good after coming to us, when they are pain free and when they are healing, then it's something, the acceptance is even more,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah. So, in terms of that, the whole idea came after the COVID thing happened, like 2 years, 3 years, we were just looking for other options in healing.
I see. Really great that you identified a gap in the market and you've come up with this, business opportunity. Great. Then want to understand, how you manage like your personal life while running multiple businesses. How do you do that stress management?
I think, okay, I'll answer that in parts. First of all, I learned to compartmentalize. Okay. Like, even when it comes to handling these three or four businesses, I don't let the stresses and challenges of one business seep into the other. Like, I don't carry it to the next business. I leave it there to be addressed at another time when its turn comes, and then I move on to what I have to do now. So, because otherwise you'll get overwhelmed. It's impossible to kind of think of everything at the same time. So
Yeah.
I just kind of cut off there, then move on to this, and then figure out the challenges here, then move on to the next. So it's something that it's come through practice. Again, not very easy. There were times when I've been overloaded and overwhelmed and extremely burnt out. But over time, I've been able to kind of build this system where I compartmentalize really, really well to
Mm.
be able to keep everything out when it's needed and
Great.
to put only those things in that I need to focus on. So that is one. In terms of work-life balance, I think it's a myth. You can't have work-life balance if you want to achieve something. If you're driven, if you're ambitious, you can't. If there is work, it needs to be done. And if I'm with my family and we're doing something together, then that is what it is. Like if I have to spend a day with my daughter, then that is what it is. We go shopping, we go to the mall, we do things together. Sometimes just watch Netflix together, whatever. So there is absolutely no way that all times you can have this balance. This is something I have to say. It might be controversial, but this is my experience.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a great take, and that's your experience, right? So I want to know like about your team. How big is your team now?
So across three businesses, so in my marketing team, I have 22 people.
Wow.
And in my salon, it's a smallish neighborhood salon, so about 6, 7 people. And the Ayurvedic setup is bigger. Mm,
Okay.
all in all, I think about 35, 40 odd people.
As an entrepreneur, is there something that keeps you up at night?
Like every entrepreneur, it's always going to be cash flow. Where's the money going to come from? So that's the only thing that keeps me up at night these days. Because in terms of whatever I wanted to do, in terms of wherever I wanted to push my various businesses, it's going in that direction already. I'm not really worried in that
Okay.
sense, like the growth of it. I'm not really worried. What I'm worried about is when suppose in the marketing company, one client or several clients haven't paid for a very long time. That affects the cash flow. When that cash flow problem arises, then it's extremely stressful. And this is probably the experience that every entrepreneur would have, except if they come from extremely moneyed backgrounds and they have an inheritance and whatever. But
Right.
if, yeah, but otherwise, it's just extremely stressful to manage cash.
Yeah.
Um, I won't say there is anything else that really is a challenge at this point in time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I completely understand. And that's something that I hear from everybody. For someone who has not been to Bahrain and doesn't know about the culture, we'd like to know more like about life and what Bahrain is like.
So Bahrain is a beautiful cultural mix of people, uh, you know, and it's just something that is actually very different from the rest of the GCC. Let me put it that way. Okay, it's extremely modern. It's very open, and it's very also conservative at the same time. It's like a beautiful blend of both, modern and conservative, which I really like, and it suits me as a person. It's also small. It's a smaller community, and because it's a smaller community, you tend to know a lot of people when you spend more time in the country, right? So the degrees of separation between people is very less now for me, because 14 years in the country, you tend to know literally everybody.
I want to know, like, for all those women who want to start their own business and want to follow your footsteps, do you have any advice for them?
You give your best. So the first thing that I would say that anybody who wants to embark on entrepreneurship is to be absolutely sure that they want to do it. Okay. And by that, I mean that if you have a full time job and you think that a side hustle is going to scale and give you those investors and stuff, then that's not going to happen. You cannot have your legs on two boats at all times. Either you work on your job and focus on that fully, or
Mm,
you quit and then focus on the new venture that you want to, grow and scale.
yeah.
But if you try to do both, it's not going to work. And I see a lot of people do that just to play safe. And the very definition of entrepreneur is that it is not safe. It's highly risky. And high risk is high rewards, right? And
Yeah.
also bigger losses. I mean, that's just a part of the game. So you have to be absolutely sure that you want to do this, right?
Mm,
Because there are huge sacrifices to make sometimes, right? Um, so that is one. Second is there are too many Me Too businesses in the market already. Like, don't open another coffee shop. Just don't open another burger joint or a pizza joint. They're just there aplenty already. Um, and from my own experience, my business number one and my business number three have done well and have picked up easily because the first business of the digital marketing business I opened when there were no social media companies in Bahrain.
I see.
Back in 2014, there were advertising companies or website development companies, but
Mm,
there were no media companies, and there was a gap that was addressed, and that is why we have grown. Very, very simply put, we may not have been the best. We may be winging it every single day, but we did well because there was opportunity, right? But when I got the salon, which was highly competitive business, everybody was already 20, 25 years into business, were doing so well. And when I entered, I didn't know anything about it, first. Second is already way too much of it is available. So it's already a red ocean.
yeah.
What are you going to find there? So I still have it, but I would not really consider that as a huge success story for me because I know the struggles that I've had with it. It's primarily because I chose it in spite of the fact that already there was so much available in the market. I couldn't differentiate it.
Yeah.
third thing is the third business did well because the clinic, which is the Ayurvedic clinic, there's not much of Ayurveda in the country right now. So again, there was a gap in the market, especially after COVID. So now you understand my drift, right? So it
Yeah.
has to be something that's not been done before, or you're addressing a need that has been unmet for a long time. Could be
Hmm.
very niche. It doesn't have to be a very big need. It could be a very small unmet need. But if you
Hmm.
do that, and by the sheer volumes of that India has, you will scale like crazy.
Wow.
Um, so that is definitely one thing. So find that gap in the market and you address it. Post that, make sure that you do a feasibility study. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be you have to hire a big four to do a feasibility. Do your own research. Create your own SWOT. What do I have? What does my competitor have? All of those gaps you address
Right.
and make a business plan. I mean,
Wow.
it's absolutely mandatory that you have to do these steps. Just don't jump into it because you're excited about something.
Wow.
Vet your ideas out. Yeah. So that is the second thing on the whole.
Final question. What do you find the most rewarding in entire journey? If there's like one thing that you have that comes to your mind.
I think the most rewarding thing is to see myself grow as a person. Okay. I mean, people may have a lot of business, they may grow it well, it's making money, all of that is there. You may win awards and accolades and everything. But for me, particularly as a person that I was, and the person that I am now is just it's a huge difference from somebody who didn't speak too much to somebody who's able to do podcasts. You
Yeah.
understand? It's like a big jump. It's a big journey for me, right? To be able to sell and convince people, to convince investors, give me your money. I'll make money for you. To be able to sit in that confidence in my own space, you know, I think that is the best. And the fact that I'm in a good place right now where I can hold space for other people too. Whether it is grooming the new Gen Z people who come to my marketing team, very
Yeah.
eager to learn about digital marketing. So I have space for them. I mentor them, I groom them. Or whether it is anybody who just comes to me randomly and says, I have this business idea. Can you help me, vet it out? And then I sit and I hold that space for them and tell them why it won't work. First, I talk about that. And then I talk about, yes, these are the things why it would work. So I think my own personal growth and journey is what has been the most rewarding for me to see.
Wow.
I did
Amazing.
not expect this from myself. And and there's a final thing like I'd like to add before we end. Um, the third point that I was talking about, which I kind of sort of forgot then, was you don't have to come back home and say that, oh, I will make the rotis. You know, make sure that you have this whole amazing ecosystem that supports you, whether it's your
Right.
parents, your husband, your children, a maid, all the help that you can get. You cannot do it all. You cannot. Once in a while cooking for your family, getting the home, to your whatever, satisfaction is fine. But every day trying to do this entrepreneur hustling and then coming back home to cook for the family, no, I won't recommend that. If you try to do that, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only third thing that I was kind of forgetting back then.
Amazing. And I think the third thing is actually my biggest takeaway from this session, having like a solid support system. And, there's always this debate whether women can have it all. So that's your take on it. And it's great actually to learn from you so much from your journey, how you've turned every challenge into an opportunity and done so much
Yeah.
well yourself. Thanks again, Anita. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming and sharing your journey with.
So it's a great opportunity for me also to understand myself and my journey better. So thank you for doing that for me.
Thank you so much for watching us till the end. I really hope that you found value in this conversation. Please do like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear this. I always believe that we do not have to look far for inspiration because there are so many incredibly inspiring stories all around us. Because as they say, no one else sees the world the way you do, so no one else can tell the stories that you have. Thank you.